So it's a huge opportunity to connect with the client. And, I've heard attorneys say, well, I'm not worried about the client so much because they're not going to file again, right? And it's a sad mindset. 42% of our clients after a bankruptcy have at least one error on their credit report, right? These things stop them from getting the loans, except like you're mentioning, right? So how do you market with this? How do you talk about this? How do you differentiate yourself? Is it all in the first calls? I know ads are ads, but how do you differentiate yourself like
Right.
this?
So that's a great question. And it is something that is in the forefront of everything we do, from our advertising, from our website, from how we market ourselves on pay-per-clicks and LSAs. It's fundamental to what we do. It's something that our lawyers do, our sales team does.
How a holistic approach to bankruptcy can build your bankruptcy practice and win you clients in the bankruptcy marketplace. I'm here with Jamie Miller, Miller Law, statewide Wisconsin. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm great today, Phil. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you. And you've been one of the early 720 system strategy clients from 2012, 2013-ish. We're here talking about how having a client-centered or client-focused practice just really has transformed your practice. Beyond probably what you even imagined, right? And you were always someone in the very, very beginning when we talked about credit scoring, you took it and you ran with it. Like you had it front and center on your website. Here, step one, get rid of your debt. Two, get a 720 credit score. Three, improve your life, right? Like you've always been that way. And so tell us at a high level how you think about bankruptcy, serving the client, the fresh start. Give us a high level overview, and then we can start unpacking some of the things you've done to really transform your practice over the years.
Right. And it probably starts back to, my own bankruptcy story. Way back when I graduated undergrad, I went back to Ohio, went into a family business, and the business ended up failing. And my dad ended up having to file a personal bankruptcy. He hired a lawyer out of Akron, Ohio, where we lived. And the lawyer really didn't care about my father's future. He only cared about discharging the debts, which is a great start, but it doesn't really solve the problem. And it was from there that I really kind of developed my motivation in the bankruptcy world, was really to help people get out of debt and help people truly get that fresh start. And I know that fresh start means a lot more than just filing for bankruptcy and getting that order of discharge. It's so important to continue to work with my clients to make sure that they have a brighter future. And that brighter future means post-discharge, getting judgments off of their credit report. It means going through the credit report and making sure anything that's negative on the credit report is actually coming off that credit report. Because if we don't do that, it's not really giving the client the opportunity at a really, clean, positive financial future as far as, getting a conventional auto loan or a conventional mortgage, being able to get reasonable and fair interest rates, get free and reasonable insurance quotes.
Yeah.
It's just those little things that is really going to help our client with that little extra disposable income that hopefully will prevent them from having to, file bankruptcy in the future.
And so interesting, couple of things is one, you have a personal connection to bankruptcy. And clearly, I don't even know if this is true yet, but I'm assuming it is, knowing you've shared that story, right? Like your clients know that you've been through it, and this is why it resonates so deeply. Is that fair to say? I mean, you,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, it's part of my origin story, and I'm not afraid to share it.
you're not afraid to share it. And I mean, it's so interesting because we see that over and over with our bankruptcy attorneys that have had bankruptcies. When you lean with that, or your parents win with the bankruptcy, there's a huge transparency and connection that the debtor feels because the debtor doesn't always feel connected to bankruptcy attorney because, frankly, it's probably the first attorney they've ever spoken to, right? So it's a huge opportunity to connect with the client. And, I've heard attorneys say, well, I mean, I'm not worried about the client so much because they're not going to file again, right? I mean, and it's a sad mindset. 42% of our clients after a bankruptcy have at least one error on their credit report, right? I mean, these things stop them from getting the loans, except like you're mentioning, right? So, how do you market with this? How do you talk about this? I mean, like, how do you differentiate yourself? Is it all in the first calls? I mean, I know ads are ads, but like, how do you differentiate yourself like
Right.
this?
So that's a great question. And it is something that is in the forefront of everything we do, from our advertising, from our website, from how we market ourselves on and pay-per-clicks and LSAs. It's fundamental to what we do. It's something that our lawyers do, our sales team does. And it's interesting because periodically, we will get clients that say, I don't care about improving my credit. I don't care about 720 system strategies. We don't want to participate in that. Can you save me money on the cost of the bankruptcy? And frankly, we tell those clients, no, this is how we do things. This is our mission. This is our vision. This is how we operate. And we're not really achieving our firm's goals of really helping our clients to a fresh start unless we're able to give them the fair services that they want. It's really differentiated us. Other lawyers in our community are dipping their toes into the post-filing bankruptcy world as far as helping people improve their credit and ensuring that their credit gets to that 720 magic number after filing, but they're not doing it in the same holistic way that we are. And it's something that is part of our culture, and we talk about it throughout the whole process, to the point where our clients, as they're going through the process, are asking, when can I start the credit repair? And clients that are knocking on our door asking questions about our services, one of their first questions is, I talked to Johnny down the street,
Yeah.
and he told me that he just bought a house and he was able to do it 2 years after filing at a conventional interest rate. Can you help me get there too?
Yeah. It's when debtors have the success of buying a home or buying a new car at a decent interest rate, they become all of a sudden the shame of the bankruptcy is gone. And it's like they've conquered their debt. And all of a sudden they're bringing it up to friends. And that's why you get the referrals that say, hey, call Miller Miller because they offer that credit program. They're going to review your credit report for errors. They're going to get you into a home. And it's not just a tagline on a website, it's initial intake. It's the meeting with the bankruptcy attorney, the 341. You're constantly reinforcing it. And let me just go to your website here. This three-step process, I've noticed has changed over the years, right? A little bit, just the nuancing of the words, which I'm just curious on, but it doesn't really matter. But it's all about getting out of debt, clean up your credit, and build your score, right? Now, how did this, like, what do people say? Like, how does this show up in the real world?
Well, I mean, it shows up in the real world because people have this, the community, or maybe even lawyers, that really have this sense about debtors that's really not true, that they kind of recklessly got into this problem, and that, they made bad decisions. But what we've seen throughout all these years of doing this is that nobody wants to file for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And it's circumstances that have got these people into that problem. And we are working on that to really help people understand that there is a future, that there is an opportunity for a fresh start.
when you pivoted to a video sort of like chat, did you see that as a big pickup? Did that work?
Yeah, it does. It does. And kind of everybody's doing that now, I think. But
Well, I mean, a lot of people are doing it. It's not everybody. I mean, by no means. I mean, but you've always been in the front. You're an early adopter, right? You really are, right? You're looking at things and you're saying, okay, great. How can I how can I make it easier on the team? How can I use technology to my advantage? But that's like how you think, right? I
yeah,
mean, is that fair to say?
yeah, and technology is changing so quickly that you have to stay up on it. And people and clients' demands and needs is ever changing. So you need to figure out the best way to meet them there. And it's important, whether you have a video or however you're communicating with your clients, you need to do it in a way that's empathetic and kind. And with the 720 credit score, one of the the reason we push it, but one of the things that gains us credibility is we always talk that this isn't something that is automatic. It's something that we do in a partnership with the client. So we're never saying, hey, when someone comes in our door, file bankruptcy, you're going to get a 720 credit score. We never make it seem that quick because it's not.
Yeah.
We always tell them, listen, it's a process. It requires collaboration. It requires work on the part of us and work on the part of the client, but we're going to be here to help shepherd them through the process because you lack credibility when you just say, hey, file bankruptcy, you're going to get a 720 credit score. But when you tell somebody that, it's included in the price we're quoting you, and we're going to collaborate and work with you along the way to make sure that, 6 months, 8 months, 2 years after your bankruptcy is done, that you've reached this goal, and we're going to follow up with you and make sure that we get you there.
And this holistic approach to bankruptcy and supporting the client, supporting the debtor, doesn't have to be complicated, right? I mean, it's you bring it up early on, you explain the value of getting a cheaper interest rate, getting a car that's not at a payday, buy here, pay here dealership, getting a conventional loan in 2 years. FHA allows that 2 years after the discharge, Chapter 7, or during an active 13, right? And I mean, is what you do during the process is just bring things up and just reinforcing it. You're not, it's a 15 to 20-second add-on at every meeting, right?
Yeah, it is. And we've created automation to deliver the service at a high level that it's not really taking any more resources
Right.
for us to deliver this added value.
So let's talk about that. So I know how you enroll them into our program, 720 credit score. It's all automated. When they hit discharge, they get enrolled automatically. There's no staff keying anybody in, and that's something that's very easily done. When you talk about other automation, you're talking emails or text messages. Hey, reminder, do this. Get your credit report reviewed for free. Contact our office for that. They're simple text and email reminders. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I
And
mean,
videos that we'll send out. We have Calendly links that
yeah.
are connected to our email signature lines. We have a 720 credit score hotline that people can call in if they have questions. And also if they feel they're not where they should be in that process post filing, they know how to reach us.
Wow, that's amazing, Jim. I didn't know about that. That's amazing. Wow. And as a reminder, which I just want to remind you in case you don't remember, but your team would know, every month we have live question and answer sessions for debtors, right? Where we get on and we are constantly, they're submitting questions because the videos in 7 steps to 720 credit score, they're designed to be short so they consume it, right? But then they're going to have questions because I just couldn't put everything in the video. So we go live and we just talk about any question they have. And, we may get 20, 30, 40 questions in a session. But what we've learned is that people learn and they listen from like other people's questions. So just as a reminder for you and your team, you can always there everyone who has ever been enrolled to 720 always gets invited to that forever, for life, until they unsubscribe. Because, and we tell them, invite your friends, because when their friends hear about how people with bankruptcy raise their credit score. At one point, I had a lot of enrollments from a debt negotiation company. And some of the most uncomfortable conversations were when people were like, why didn't I file bankruptcy? Like, wait, you mean this person filed bankruptcy and bought a home 2 years later? I'm still paying the debt negotiator. So it's really just, we're bringing the truth, we're bringing the transparency to the debtor world and giving them a true start, like you're saying. I mean, the thing I love about what we unpacked here today, this is not complicated. And in your practice, I mean, where's your practice grown over the past 10 years? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, we don't practice outside the state of Wisconsin, but we've grown to be the number one filer in the state of Wisconsin, which was actually one of our goals. And we haven't, like, I appreciate the revenue and the profitability that comes from a growing practice. But I actually look at, and our core values make me really want, and I say this honestly, to help more people. And so being able to get the message out and provide great legal services and great results and the dream of a better life and a better credit score is really what motivates us. And the profits kind of come from that.
yeah.
And that's really what we're motivated to do. And one of the frustrating things, as you know, is that we take X number of people through our system each month, but only 35–40% actually participate. And that's very frustrating. We're always trying to work with clients and follow up with them to make sure we've done all we can to get people to enroll in these wonderful programs.
And what I've learned from that is, debtors will come when their time is. Sometimes after bankruptcy, they're so emotionally exhausted with like just going through it that they just need a little more time. And we've had many people in the question and answer session saying, hey, my bankruptcy attorney enrolled me 3 years ago. Like, can I get enrolled? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. Just, we re-enroll them for free. It's a lifetime enrollment. So, because credit scores change and, sometimes people they lose a job and they're back in the same situation. So we're working through it.
Right.
And Jamie, on a like in terms of pricing, would you say you're on the low side, middle side, or the high side of pricing in Wisconsin?
I'd say and we talk about this quite a bit. We're closer to the highest side in Wisconsin, and there is so much price elasticity, meaning I think we could be charging more, but I think it's our holistic approach
Yeah.
that allows us to be one of the highest charging bankruptcy firms in the state. And also, as a bankruptcy lawyers, our fees are being looked at by the U.S. trustee, and I'm constantly educating them to understand that, yeah, it may look like a simple bankruptcy and you think we should only be charging, $2,000 a case, but we're charging $3,000 a case because we're doing this added value. And it takes time to work with the clients to help
Yeah.
ensure that they're meeting their dreams.
There's a faux belief of like, oh, these debtors don't have the money and they want the cheapest bankruptcy, right? And there is a segment of the population that wants the bankruptcies for $800 or what are those billboards, whatever they are, and then they get upsold accordingly. But we see it consistently on these strategy calls that when we interview our top attorneys that are growing the fastest, they're not the cheapest. Like it doesn't work this way. I mean, in the practicality in the real world, the top filers are serving the client more and charging more for it. And the clients are happier because they're getting the true fresh start you're talking about, Jamie.
Right. And it's also, if you're setting, and we do this a lot, I mean, what relief can we provide the clients immediately and get them set up on a payment plan, because oftentimes it's not the total amount you charge, it's the payment plan that allows them to reach their goals. And we're offering so many services from start to finish that we know exactly what our realization rate is. So I know if I get somebody $100 down and we're charging them $3,000 and I need to get to that 3,000, I know my realization rate is 80%.
Mhm.
So I feel comfortable for that person that's paying $100 or $500 a month, that providing them those services along the way, because eventually providing those services is what's going to result in a paid in full client, a filed client, another client that hits their 720 credit score goal.
Good for you. And Jamie, technical question, do you bifurcate in your practice?
We do.
You do. Okay. So
Yes,
you pay a certain amount and then you file and you collect post petition.
correct.
Okay, great. Okay. Jamie Miller, thanks for your time. Once again, long time. I mean, we've been at this for 10, 12 years together at least. And all Jamie Miller's information will be in the notes section below. And if you have a referral in Wisconsin, call him up directly. Thank you, Jamie.
Well, thank you for all you do. I appreciate that so much.
My pleasure. Teamwork.